Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name is Clive. I have the man flu. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just looking for an understanding from the listeners tonight. I may not be on my game as much as I am, if I ever am. But if things start to dip, I'll rely on my co-host and compadre and tag team partner for life, Ricky. Hello, Ricky.
Good evening. You won't get any sympathy from me. I had the flu. I'm just starting to get rid of it. But yeah, more than anything, I'm not going to give you sympathy because you got the flu. It's because you took so damn long to introduce me.
I'm trying to get this rubbish out the way. Because if we get the rubbish out the way, we have the grand announcement of, you may have noticed there was a certain advert at the start of this podcast this week. That's right. The Social Suplex Podcast Network now has a sponsor. That is Powerslam.tv. They are basically a streaming service. So see if you guys out there are looking for some to dip your toes into the world of independent wrestling. Get a free first month of over 3,000 hours of independent wrestling from across the globe on Powerslam.tv with the promo code, Ricky?
Social Suplex.
Yes. Well done. 3,000. I was having a browse through it earlier and going through. It's the same. It's Pivot Share, so it's the same kind of deal as ICW and Progress's like network, so to speak. And their A to Z of promotions just goes on and on and on. So,
and I don't want to sound like some sort of shill or anything, but that's just an insane amount of hours.
Mm-hmm. So if you've got
insane, so
ever expanding. Just like ourselves as well, we have new additions to the network in the guise of Wilfred Watches Podcast and Omega Look Wrestling Podcast. So, welcome to the family, gentlemen.
Welcome aboard.
Loads of podcasts for you to pick from. I think the WWE ones are beginning to get outnumbered now, as far as I can do the math.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, has this been recording? Yes, it has, thank goodness. TLC.
What a terrible start.
I know. I'm telling you, all I'm doing is explaining that I won't be on my game tonight, but I'll try my best. We're going to.
I mean, I did offer to take the reins tonight.
You can do the last bit.
But your ego said no.
Listen, is your new gimmick to just bury me in public?
My gimmick has been the same since day one, and it's to poke and prod you at all times because I know I can get a reaction from you.
Well, it's going to happen tonight. TLC is this Sunday, the last pay-per-view of the year on the WWE Network. Not the best of stories leading into it for quite a lot of the matches, if not all of them, from a personal point of view. But on paper, there are a good few matches there, just in terms of wrestling quality. So we're going to go for a try and look forward to this event from a work rate point of view rather than stories and stuff like that. There are 12 matches all in. insane stuff to close out the year. People are trying to wrap some Christmas presents or write their final shopping lists to Santa, and they're flinging this probably 4+ hour pay-per-view at us. How wonderful of them.
It is a ridiculous... It's what I said to you this morning when we were talking about when you put the doc together. I just didn't realise it was this amount of matches. I'm actually looking through them. There's about 8, I would say, that I'm quite interested in, or certainly looking forward to.
I mean, just as I said, from a wrestling point of view, there is enough there to intrigue me. Whether on the night, at the end of it all, I am satisfied, that's another situation. But we'll see. So, I have listed it from the lordsofpain.net's updated card. However, I will go from in reverse order, starting with the least sort of built, leading all the way up to your likes of your WWE champions and stuff like that. Now, the first one we will touch on is Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. Now, although this might not be the least exciting on the card, it is a wee bit up in the air with regards to Finn Balor's health. He had to come home from a house show at the weekend there, and he wasn't on Raw. As far as I'm aware, there is an illness involved. Your thoughts? Do you think it will go ahead?
Difficult to say, but I think if it doesn't, we might just get Dolph inserted into that slot. Looking at it, and he's not on the card, so
that's a possibility.
I really hope we do get Finn and Drew, because as soon as this was announced, my immediate reaction was like, this match is going to be really, really good. Like you said, from a storyline aspect, granted, some of them, like I said, they all have a story to it, but some of them just aren't intriguing.
Yeah.
Like I said, but the matches itself, I think, will deliver. And you know, when it comes down to a storyline driven feud, would I rather it was a great storyline with an okay match, or would I rather it was the other way around? I'm all for just having a kind of average build up to then suddenly having a great match. And I think a lot of these matches, or a lot of these feuds, will fall into that category, where the build has been pretty poor, pretty bad, but the match itself will kind of make you forget about the build.
And I think if this match goes ahead, then Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre will deliver, if both men are fit. Very dynamic, kinetic wrestlers with explosive movesets, especially Drew McIntyre's Claymore, which has an out-of-nowhere kind of feel to it. Yep. And he delivers it with gusto as well, so you're a massive Drew McIntyre fan. He's getting a spotlight. As far as I'm aware, this is his first singles pay-per-view match since he came up to the main roster.
Yep.
It's crazy when you think about it like that, isn't it?
But like I said, for wrestling alone, I'm looking forward to it. This is probably in my top... It's certainly my top 4 match, I think, of the night.
Right. What's your prediction if it goes ahead?
Oh, it's a Drew win all day long.
Probably, actually, when you think about it. Drew has been pushed, although he's been a bit stagnant as far as an actual push is concerned. There has been a lot of impetus put on Drew. He's been the main guy in the tag team of him and Dolph Ziggler, even though Ziggler was an IC champ for quite a while. It's always been about Drew for me. So I don't see anything else apart from a Drew McIntyre win.
I agree, and I think, like you said, there's been a big spotlight on Drew without it really equaling like a proper strong push. Maybe him teaming up with Dolph dragged on a little bit too long. I didn't like how he lost a couple of weeks ago to Dolph on Raw. I know it was kind of a bit of an iffy finish to it, but it kind of wasn't. But like I said, there has been a big spotlight on Drew the moment he came back up to the main roster, but it's not really equated to a full strong push. And I think now's the time that we're kind of now going to enter Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, where I think you'll kind of start to see the Drew McIntyre hype train get louder and louder. And I think, as you said, there's rumours about what the potential WrestleMania main event could be, and one of those rumours has Drew McIntyre in it. And I think either way, I think he's now going to start to get a real strong push heading towards WrestleMania, because I think he's going to have a significant spot on that card.
I would like to see a strong offering at the Royal Rumble.
I think we will get that.
Which isn't that far away, actually. So they need to start getting their finger in gear with the creative side of things. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, the next match that I have here is this final of the Mixed Match Challenge Season 2, where the winners basically get a chance to compete at number 30 in the Royal Rumble of their respective matches. So you have Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox versus R-Truth and Carmella. I have seen one GIF of the Mixed Match Challenge. So I have nothing to add. Not one thing.
So the winner gets the chance to compete for the 30th spot, or is entrant number 30?
They are entrant number 30.
Hate it. Hate it.
Is it because of who is involved?
Not really.
Because you like number 30 to be a surprise?
Yes, it ruins that surprise element.
Yeah, I agree.
And I guess some people could say, well, maybe now the surprise will be like more of a surprise. But I don't like that. I always like the intrigue of having number 30. I like the fact that when it comes to things like the mixed match challenge, that they're actually giving us a reason to want to watch it and giving us a reason to care who wins it, etc. It's what I've always said, that I wanted the Battle Royals to be at WrestleMania. It's what maybe you could put on the line in Survivor Series when it's brand supremacy. Instead of having brand supremacy, you would have the winner of whatever brand wins the 5-on-5 men's and women's match. They'll have a chance to have their own mini match to see who goes in at number 30. So I like the fact that you've given us a reason to maybe want to watch the Mixed Match Challenge. I like the fact that there's an incentive for the two teams. I just don't like it. It's the entrant number 30, and I think it's going to be R-Truth and Carmella. Yeah, I do like me some Truth. So, but like, I'm just not enamoured with that actual stipulation.
I mean, statistically, number 30 isn't the most successful number for the Rumble. As far as I'm aware, it's either 21 or 27, which has had the most wins. I'm
not even looking at it from a kayfabe point of view. I'm just looking at it from
who cares point of view.
Yeah, I don't care that it's going to be one of those two, but I like I say, number 30 was always that the intrigue of who might come down, and hopefully this will now put any kind of rumours that people thought Roman might come back at the Royal Rumble to bed, because, you know, if he was ever going to come back at the Royal Rumble, he was going to come in at number 30. But that'll put that kind of, if anyone even had those kind of thoughts, that'll put that to bed. Like I say, I like I say, I've repeat myself, but I like there's a carrot dangled in front of the two teams. I don't like what the actual carrot is.
It's not that great, and I mean, I wasn't not a fan of Carmella last year. Well, this year, but I probably won't watch this one if I'm being brutally honest with you.
Oh, neither will I. It'll be on a free show anyway.
So I'll pick Mahal and Alicia Fox just to be different from you.
Right.
Since podcasts like a good segue, you mentioned the dangling carrot. The next match on the list is a dangling guitar, where Elias and Bobby Lashley will have a ladder match, and the stipulation is Elias's guitar will be hanging above the ring as a weapon. So, excuse me, how many times have these guys fought over the last 2-3 months? Does the inclusion of the ladder do anything for you? Does the inclusion of someone getting a guitar shot do anything for you?
No, because I don't really care too much about Bobby Lashley. Never have.
I mean, see, at this stage, I would rather see Elias versus Leo Rush. Because Did you see how he was ragdolled into the ring post?
Yep.
This week, and I mean, he has his detractors for his attitude backstage, but Leo Rush is quite the wrestler. He's done really well for himself when he's wrestling on 205. I know he's an arse, but he's the most interesting person out of him and Lashley. But wow, what a match!
And I like Elias. I do like Elias, but I don't really care about this match. I'm going to go with Elias. But I only say that because I don't see the babyface kind of losing the match and then getting hit with the guitar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't. Like I says, I'm not that enamoured with this matchup either.
Right, so we're going for an Elias win.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's move very swiftly on. Chairs match, Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio. Now, Randy Orton's not been the worst thing on SmackDown for me. I've enjoyed what he's been doing, where he's singling out people, sort of heroes of SmackDown, and taking away their calling card, so to speak, with Jeff Hardy and his paint, Ty Dillinger and his fingers for the perfect 10, and he's trying to take Mysterio's mask off. So, it's probably the best use of Orton in a good couple of years. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I agree, but it doesn't necessarily mean I want to see him.
I know.
And this is another one that, at the start of it, I says a lot of these matches I am looking forward to, but in the first 3 of the 4 we've discussed, including this one, I'm not that bothered about it.
I know.
I do agree with the Randy thing, and I do still like watching Rey Mysterio. But the match itself, like I say, it just doesn't do much for me.
I mean, this is 2018. This match probably happened 10 years ago.
Yep.
Just, we had bigged up this saying, we're quite interested in quite a few of these matches, but that's 3 in a row where, nah.
Yeah, but now it's going to start picking up though.
Well, the next one on the list is the tables match between Natalya and Ruby Riott.
Ruby Riott is going to get her comeuppance.
Probably.
I'm a massive Natalya fan, so I'm always interested in Natalya matches. I know a lot of people don't like the whole cancer being brought up for Roman, and some people have an issue with the anvil being brought up here as well. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's elevated the storyline. I think it's brought a kind of realism to it in a sense as well. And then when they came out on Monday, Ruby Riott had the table with the anvil's image all over it. You know, and then she hit out with that line, "Come Sunday, you and your dad are going to be as close as ever," or something. I can't remember what she said, something along those lines. You know, so they're really hitting on some personal stuff there. And like I said, I don't have an issue with it, but because you know what, at the end of the day, Natalya has signed off on this. So
that's true.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. I'll be honest with you, I am looking forward to this match. But I do, I think that's probably more so because I'm quite a big fan of Natalya. And I think Ruby Riott is good as well.
The thing that worries me about it is there was a video going around, doing the rounds at the weekend, where Natalya tried to powerbomb Ruby Riott through the table and the table didn't break. Now, this isn't the first time that a slight woman has not been able to break a table. It's happened regularly. I'm all for women having gimmick matches. Look what happened in the last woman standing matches and Hell in a Cells, but see, when it comes to tables, it kind of out of it quickly, and I'm scared in case something like that happens and takes away from what could be a good match.
And that's why I think the table spot's got to be planned quite well. You've got to ensure that you're able to break it first time, because sometimes when a table doesn't break, it adds to the spot and it looks even more brutal.
Sometimes.
But for a lot of the times, when a table doesn't break, you kind of get the impression that it should have broke and it just didn't, for whatever reason. You know, because you can't ever plan for not breaking a table. But sometimes, like I say, it just adds to it. But a lot of the time, it just kind of looks, I wouldn't say clumsy or any sloppy or anything, because sometimes you just can't help it. But it just kind of looks like, oh, you ruined a good moment there, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, you just kind of need to plan that table spot wisely, whether it's coming off the top rope or coming from the top the turnbuckle to the outside or something, I'm not sure, just to kind of ensure the table does break. Or whether you just go with the whole standard where you put the table in the turnbuckle and you throw the person into it. But I am looking forward to the match. I am.
So you're going for a Natalya win?
Yes.
I didn't ask you who would win the chairs match.
I'll go Ray.
I was thinking that myself. You'd mentioned comeuppance for Ruby Riott. I think it's about time that Orton got his comeuppance. So Rey Mysterio will squeeze out a victory here in some form or other.
And before we move on to the next match, just shout out to Kyle. Go away, Randy Orton.
I'm on the go away Rey Mysterio train as well, so...
It's a the loser goes away match.
That would be excellent. Natalya, Ruby Riott. I predict a riot.
Tough.
Any Kaiser Chiefs fans out there? Hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, this next match, why is this even being announced? This is dreadful. TLC match, Braun Strowman versus General Manager-elect Baron Corbin. The stipulation is, Strowman, currently out with an injury, an injury that is going to keep him out of action for multiple months. He would earn a Royal Rumble title shot from WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar if he wins. Corbin will be the permanent general manager if he wins, but he will lose all Red Brand authority if he loses.
Mm-hmm.
Baron Corbin has come under some severe criticism the last few months, last few weeks especially, and someone like him who's quite devoid of much charisma. The Constable Corbin thing was amusing at first, but there's points where Baron Corbin, nowhere near one of NXT's success stories, has taken up a third of Monday Night Raw.
This motherfucker can't cut a promo. This motherfucker can't wrestle. This motherfucker shouldn't be on our TV. He isn't good at what he does. He isn't. He has two, really good moves, and they're real good moves. But he isn't good at all. Like I say, you know what the damning thing about him is, right? Is for when you look at him from when he entered NXT or at any point in NXT to look where he is now, can you really genuinely say, wow, I've saw so much improvement from him?
No, not much.
And for me, that's the damning thing about it. Like how long he's been on the main roster, how long he's kind of been in a spotlight, and like I said, he hasn't done anything. I think you need to remember, this is a guy that won Money in the Bank as well, so he was highly thought. He always has been kind of highly thought of, but you lost your cash in, and I know that's not always an indictment on the person, but at the same time, it kind of is. Like maybe it was them admitting, maybe we put this on you too soon, or maybe you did have some heat, etc. But for me, when you see Baron Corbin from day one in NXT to what you see now, there really isn't much of a difference.
I think the only difference is he is more comfortable on the microphone. At the same time, though, what he's saying is devoid of any oomph. It's been going on too long. As I said, coming out in the corporate cane attire, that was funny. Got himself a haircut, which was in dire need of.
Like he says, at first it was just quite funny because I remember kind of having a couple of conversations with some other people. I remember having a conversation with Kyle actually, and we were just kind of talking about non-wrestling stuff. It was politics, and then it kind of tied into Corbin. It was funny at the time, and it's not funny anymore. It really isn't. But I mean, Braun Strowman getting a title shot at Royal Rumble. Like, I'm sorry, I've seen this. I've read this book plenty of times. There's nothing that's going to suggest that he's going to win. Maybe he will, who knows, but why would you think he is going to win at Royal Rumble? I'm going to throw a spanner in the works and say Braun isn't ready for Sunday. And his replacement is Bray.
Okay.
If Bray Wyatt takes Braun Strowman's spot, I will be glued to that match.
Bray Wyatt, I mean...
Yes, Bray Wyatt, him. I know we spoke about him in the Messenger group a few weeks back, or last week. And I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. And I know they could have done so much more with him. But there's something about him that I absolutely love. I think, and I think a lot of people love him as well. And I think you kind of just go back to watching the Battle Royal at WrestleMania when the lights went out and Bray appeared and you saw the pop he got. The crowd lost their shit. When Bray first came on to NXT in the main roster, he was cutting promos that I don't think I'd heard before. It was like, what? Like, it was creepy, it was eerie, and he kind of spoke in riddles, but it was making sense, and you were glued to it, and you were kind of scared as well. I think he has the makings of being a big deal for them if they just book him right. He's classic main roster because his character work is excellent, his mic work is excellent, but his in-ring work is solid enough to complement those things.
Uh-huh.
So he's not like, he's not like someone like, say, AJ AJ's gotten better on the mic, sorry, it might not be the great example, but you get someone who's great in the ring but is not that great on the mic. But Bray is what I would say that Vince kind of looks for in his main roster guys. I'm a huge fan of Bray. I think, like I says, we saw it last year when he gave us a little glimpse. They put a title on him and everyone got so excited. And I know they took it off a month later and the match wasn't very good. But I think every single time they've given even like a small resemblance of a push, a lot of people have got behind it. And I think he's still very popular to this day.
See, I am not a believer in wins and losses matter at the base level, right? But when it comes to wins and losses of overall feuds and storylines with specific wrestlers, I am. And Bray Wyatt has been on the receiving end of a lot of losses, a lot of L's when it comes to the storylines he's been involved in. And because of that, I've lost a lot of credibility for him. And I just don't see how someone like him, who has been a bit of an afterthought since, I don't know if he's been injured or not, but since Matt Hardy had to hang up his boots, they've had nothing for Bray Wyatt. And I'm not that taken with him anymore. So I can't see, Bray Wyatt and Baron Corbin, that's one of those matches on paper. I'm thinking, that's like a Raw match.
It is, and it's a Raw match because it's Baron Corbin.
Anything with Baron Corbin is a Raw match.
No, I think you could easily just change people's perception of Bray quite quickly. I don't think it will take long. I don't think it takes many wins. I think a lot of people are looking for a reason to get behind him again.
Right.
I like him kind of like to Rusev. I think they've both always been popular. And I think it's not going to take much of a push. It's not going to take many wins for people to get behind him. I think he just needs that one sort of big-ish win so people can start to believe again.
Maybe.
And it falls back on Braun, Braun and Brock were about to run this again for what, the third time, isn't it? The singles match. So why would we think it's going to be any different? Because Braun himself, has lost several high-profile feuds. So that says I would be more.
That's why Braun doesn't do much for me either anymore.
And it's a shame. But like I said, for me, I'd be more interested and intrigued in this match if it was Bray that turned up. Bray's coming back at some point. It was at a house show a couple of weeks ago.
It was.
That's the only thing that's going to kind of intrigue me about this match, because Braun winning, I don't want to see Braun and Brock again. I don't want to see Corbin continue as a general manager. Sorry, you go.
The thing with Corbin, it's not even a case of he's just boring. He's not doing his job properly in the kayfabe side of things. Why would he attack Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel to ensure that a part-timer basically walked away with the main event championship and they wouldn't be on TV for such a long time? Why would they want to do that? And denying Ronda Rousey a championship match on a TV episode as well. I know they ended up going ahead with it, but he's not doing his job properly, and he's just been allowed to run riot around a lot of Raw, and it's not really. I mean, Seth Rollins said it. Obviously, he's speaking through God knows who decided to come out with that one. And obviously it's all Vince's fault at the end of the day. But on TV, Baron Corbin has sucked the life out of Monday Night Raw. So, although I don't see what they're going to do, and I'm guessing you're not exactly locking it up with Bray Wyatt, but you think Baron Corbin will actually lose somehow?
Corbin won't win. No.
Yeah, something's got to happen there, so I'm not sure what will happen, but I'll say that Corbin loses his match and loses control of Raw and ends up on Saturday night main event, whatever it's called. Just like Jinder was.
Just as long as he stops getting so much of a spotlight on Raw. I don't need to fucking see him.
Uh-huh.
And it's hard. Like I always preach, watch whatever intrigues you. But it's difficult for me to watch fucking Raw when Baron Corbin's on 75% of the time.
Exactly. Or you've got...
Not a fan. Just not a fan whatsoever.
No. Oh, we went down a dark path there. So...
It needs to be said though, like we're trying to always keep it positive, but sometimes we just need to call out the bullshit, and to me that is bullshit.
And we haven't really talked about the main roster for the last couple of weeks, so this has been bubbling for us for a wee while. No, get Corbin off the screens, please. Get him off my telly.
There's just no need for us to see someone who's such an adequate wrestler and someone who's not, like you say, doesn't have any kind of great characteristic traits on our TV, constantly taking up so much time and space. Fuck, I'd rather see Brock on my TV than I'd rather see Corbin.
Calm down. You still must not be well to come out with shit like that.
I would.
Next up,
but
will we move on?
Yeah, may as well.
The Cruiserweight title match between challenger Cedric Alexander and champion Buddy Murphy. I have a feeling this has pre-show written on it, but at the end of the day, it's still a bit of a spotlight being shown on the 205 Live fellas. We're seeing it a lot more now. Drake Maverick has been involved in matches, and Leo Rush has been in matches. We had Mustafa Ali have his, I don't know if that was an official SmackDown debut or not, but that was treated like a big deal because there was a backstage bit where all the New Day and Usos and a few of the others were congratulating Ali as he was walking back. It just felt like quite a big deal. And
because it was a big deal.
Exactly. I mean, my interest in SmackDown hasn't been as hot as others the last few weeks. I'm not sure.
Sorry to cut you off. Do you know why it was a big deal?
Why?
Because the best wrestler in the company made his debut on SmackDown.
That's true. And it wasn't even his best match.
For me, it was a big fucking deal. And you want to know why this match is going to be on the pre-show? Because of bland ass Cedric Alexander.
Oh, he's been kind of interesting since he lost the title, because he went on a losing streak. He had a crisis of confidence. He finally won a match against Leo Rush in an excellent match, and he's teased a heel turn, a betrayal of Mustafa Ali. So this is the most interesting he's been over the last 2 months, and it was the whole championship reign. So, but it's not the match. 205 Live have been getting a good spotlight recently, so I'm not going to belittle this match. And these guys did tear the house down in Australia. There might be another pre-show one, or they might have commercials playing where this match is in the small corner. God knows why they had some of the best parts of that match last night hidden away on a small screen. But I'm excited for it. I always am for cruiserweight title matches, and it's good that they're sinking these in with the pay-per-views rather than just the odd episode of 205. So, I think there's a possibility of Under walking away with this one.
What, with the title?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
I don't know. Maybe a bit too early. There might even be a triple threat at the Rumble between Alexander.
Yeah, I could maybe see that triple threat: Alexander, Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali, and then months leading up to WrestleMania, you could have Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, and then I think at WrestleMania you're going to get the rematch between Ali and Buddy Murphy.
Oh really? Not Ali and Alexander?
At WrestleMania for the title? No, I think Murphy holds it until then, and Ali wins the title at WrestleMania.
I think that is a possibility regardless of who it is he is facing, Ali walking away with the title.
I would rather not see Ali on 205 anymore, to be honest. I don't want to offend you.
No, it's fine.
But
I will retort.
I'd put him on SmackDown.
I will retort though that, okay, going to the bigger stage is a big deal, and it is a big deal, but it will not be used as often as it has been in 205 Live.
I get that, but I also think when he goes to SmackDown, there'll be a larger audience. There'll be a bigger platform for him, and being, in my opinion, one of the top 2 or 3 wrestlers in the company, that'll get him very, very far.
And there's room for a few pure baby faces as well on SmackDown.
There is room to have the biggest baby face in the company.
Oh, yes.
On the roster, and that's what he could genuinely be. If you would just allow him it to be, or you give him that platform. I think he's that damn special.
He will be the heart of SmackDown Live.
He really could be the face. He really could be the face of that brand. Now it all depends what happens when Foxtail comes into it, and how they manoeuvre people around, but he's just so gifted.
He is. He's a lovely man. I wish he was my friend.
So he's my brother, so that's good enough for me.
That's true. Next up is Triple Threat for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. This one for me is definitely on paper that should be a good match, but the lead up has been... I mean, people have been slagging off Raw's Tag Team division for all the shit comedy segments and stuff they've had. They've had quite a few in SmackDown in the last couple of months. Had the Pancake Party, I can't remember if that was a national holiday or not.
Maybe just Pancake Day or whatever it was.
The Trick or Treat street fight, the Thanksgiving street fight, a rap battle. I mean,
the rap battle was funny. I thought. That wasn't meant to come over the way the New Day and Usos rap battle was supposed to come over. I just found it kind of funny.
there's been too much funny with this triple threat build, though.
This is a match. This is my match of the night.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so.
So this ties in with the whole what we were saying, kind of shoddy build. But this is a match that I'm most looking forward to out of the entire card. It's this one. We know how great some of the matches these three have had between them, like one-on-one tag team matches. I think this could be very, very good. It really, really could. I just hope this isn't on the pre-show.
Oh, well, it's the only tag team titles match.
So I'm looking at it right, so on the pre-show, I'm probably going to assume there's going to be at least 3 matches, I think, on the pre-show. I'm going to go mixed match.
3 matches?
I think mixed match, the ladder match, and the cruiserweight match.
The ladder match will be on the main, I think. They love Elias for some reason.
It's going to be 9 matches probably on the main. No way should Elias and Bobby Lashley be on the main show and that tag team match be on the pre-show. No way. Put the matches that don't mean anything on the pre-show, because remember last time at Survivor Series we were told that the pre-show means absolutely nothing.
If I'm being honest, I think the tables match will be on the pre-show along with the mixed match challenge match. This Braun Strowman thing will be 10 minutes tops. It'll just be a segment. It won't last long. So then you're talking 8 matches over possibly 4 hours. So
it will be about 3.5 to 4 hours. Whether this lands on the pre-show or the main show makes no difference. It's still the match of the night for me. This is the one that I'm most looking forward to.
Who do you?
And
think?
It needs to be. Who do I think either the Usos or the Bar. I'm going to go the Bar.
I'd like to hear that. I don't know if it will be them though.
I don't think it will be New Day anyway.
I've not got a clue who it will be, to be honest with you. So I'll throw a spanner in the works and say the New Day or the Bludgeon Brothers will come down and attack them all.
God, I hope not.
As you say,
I totally forgot about them.
As you say, this has the room to be one of the matches of the night, and it very well could be. But there's just been too much funny for me the last couple of months with this lot that I don't care.
Like I say, and it just ties in what we were getting at, what we said at the start of the show. Some poor builds, match quality should deliver. And like I says, there's no reason why this can't be the match of the night.
I know. Next up, Raw Women's title match, Nia Jax versus champion Ronda Rousey. Any thoughts?
The first match they had was good.
It was
good. I'm hoping Tamina doesn't get involved in any kind of way.
Oh dear.
Ronda wins.
Yep, she will retain.
Yeah, I'm expecting a kind of similar to match what we got last time. Nia Jax got more than enough offense and to look real strong, to look like a credible threat, and so she should. I think in the end, Ronda will pull it out. But I'm expecting a somewhat solid match. And this is also one of the matches I'm looking forward to, just because, like I say, the first time around, it was a good match before Alexa Bliss interfered.
Yeah. I think the crowd reaction will be quite interesting for this one. With Nia Jax proclaiming to be the best wrestler in the company and all that stuff.
I think they're probably going to get a lot of Becky chance, if I'm honest.
Oh, possible. Wait, what city is this in?
Oh, I can't even remember. Let me check that right now. But I don't think it really matters what city's in now. I think a lot of people are programmed that way just to start chanting that kind of stuff, but I think we could get that. I'm sure Ronda's going to get some kind of booze.
There probably will be Becky chants through this.
It is in San Jose, California.
I don't know. I haven't got much to add with this one. I think Ronda Rousey will retain. Nia Jax will soak up some heat. Maybe not nuclear, but who am I kidding? I don't care much about this one. Sorry.
So you going with Ronda as well?
Yes. Next up on this list is the other women's title match on SmackDown Live, a triple threat TLC match between Asuka, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Becky wins by pinning Charlotte, and then we get Becky and Asuka at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, so is this a TLC match where the pinfalls count as well? I didn't realise that.
I don't know.
I suppose that is the course, part of the course these days, is it not?
Right, well, Becky wins, and I think we get Asuka and Becky at Royal Rumble anyway. And by the way, Becky Lynch owns Charlotte. Owns her.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte attacks her with the kendo stick, and then Becky turns it around and starts beating the hell out of Charlotte before Asuka gets involved. Becky wins. Becky Asuka at the Royal Rumble is my prediction.
Okay.
A real good match, and then the real intrigue comes in. Where does this go on the card?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. I think you're looking at people involved in both the women's title matches in whatever shape or form will be Rousey, Asuka, Flair and Lynch in some form or another.
At WrestleMania?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think so.
Because there's two of these four will still be champion, and two of these four very possibly could win the Rumble, and the other one will win the Chamber match.
Yep.
I think Asuka will, I'm guessing SmackDown will have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this year.
I'm not sure.
So that means Charlotte Flair will win the Royal Rumble. She'll decide that she's going to take on Ronda Rousey, and Asuka will win Elimination Chamber in February, March, whenever it is. You happy with those two picks?
I think they're going Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania anyway. How you get there, I'm not sure. I think at some point, let's just say they don't do champion versus champion, right? Let's say they don't. Becky has to drop it at some point, and I think she'll probably drop it then to Asuka.
I think there's one thing for certain. Becky is going to drop the title at some point soon. She won't.
And I think she'll go somehow get the match with Ronda, and it'll be them two. And I could maybe see them running Charlotte and Asuka again.
Oh, I don't know. As you said there, a lot of moving parts, so it's hard to determine. For me, I think this has the possibility of being match of the night, especially with the chemistry we've seen with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch of late. Becky Lynch hasn't wrestled that much. Has she even wrestled at all since she came back? Mm-hmm. She's just been appearing, so there is still that question of how active she will be on the night.
I have a question for you.
Ask away.
You know how Becky's appearing on, or she did, or she is this week, on Ariel Helwani's MMA podcast? Basically, right, so he's one of the leading MMA journalists. He works with ESPN.
Okay.
and she's appearing on his MMA podcast. So I know a lot of people are talking about that, saying it's like you've got a female wrestler appearing on a mixed martial artist journalist podcast. It shows you how much she's moving the needle and how much reaction she's getting and how over she is and how much people are like love her character work. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
My question to you is she getting all this quote unquote fame and all this attention and all this praise because it's Ronda Rousey she's going after? Or because she's that damn good of a character it doesn't matter who she was going after?
In the build to WrestleMania?
And just in general the last sort of 6 weeks. Do you think her going after Ronda Rousey has played her a part of getting mainstream attention? Because that's what he is. He's big time.
I mean, why go on an MMA podcast? Why not go on the Ricky and Clive wrestling show?
She's an idiot, obviously. Ricky and Clive wrestling show, part of the Social Suplex podcast network. Download all the great podcasts we've got on this network.
Sponsored
on
by
iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you want.
Nicely done. That's a good question, and based on the fact that she's going on an MMA podcast, is it specifically MMA?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. He might have had other people, but he is an MMA journalist. Like, that's what he is. That's what he is known for.
Then I'll say yes then.
I may have to agree with that.
So it's Becky Ronda at WrestleMania?
I think so. And I think... You know how WWE and ESPN have got like a working relationship, etc.?
Yeah.
I also wouldn't be surprised if it was requested for her to go on it and to kind of take shots at Ronda and just continue doing what she's doing to prolong this feud. That's me being sort of cynicism coming out.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if
I don't see
Vince McMahon and got in touch with the ESPN guys and said, "Can we make this happen?" And they're going to make it happen. And it's kind of they're using this as another launching pad to continue the feud, and it makes sense.
I don't see it as cynical. I think it's a smart move if they're trying to. I mean,
I'm just saying cynical as me saying it's not all because of how great Becky's been. It's more so because the companies have a working relationship and they're doing it. And they're just going to capitalise on it at the moment, if you know what I mean? As opposed to we're giving Becky all this credit and her wise out his way and he's doing it off his own back to get her on, as opposed to being told by the bosses that you're having her on.
Uh-huh. I would say that's what they're doing it for, and I don't see I don't see anything negative or cynical about it at all.
I'm just saying, like I says, it was just thought I found it quite intriguing and you know, like at the end of the day, it still is a big fucking deal that you've got a female wrestler going on Hilwani's podcast, because he's very well known.
It's more mainstream exposure, which can't hurt at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I don't know who to pick for this one. I'll go for... I'll go for a Becky Lynch retention.
I'm doing that.
Okay, second last one, nearly there. IC title match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Well.
What started off like very intriguing, Dean Ambrose refusing to speak for the first couple of weeks, just kind of standing there in the crowd, to now him coming out dressed as some sort of gaming character, fictional character with his mask on. It's just... I liked... You remember when we were talking about the Dean Ambrose documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of done in both a kayfabe and non-kayfabe way.
Yes.
And it was done with a guy who knew what he wanted his character to be. And a lot of people touched on it, Rance has touched on it, guys like Rich and everyone's touched on it and saying it was a guy who was clearly conflicted in what he wanted to do. Here he was out, nearly died from the injury, from complications, and he has to come back and be involved in a feud that he's not involved in. And then coupled with the Roman thing, and it was Roman, it was kind of like, it kept him kind of sane. His mental health, so to say, was kind of kayfabe-wise, was dangling by a thread.
Mm-hmm.
And you got all of those emotions in that documentary, and it was unbelievable. And it's like, it was so easy to write, and it's kind of went away from it. It went off the boil.
Do you know, there's kind of, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but there is a way to make sense of all this.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Ambrose nearly died from an infection. So you could say his germophobia that he's got going on just now, walking about with a handkerchief and hiding from the fans in hazmat suits and stuff.
And that makes sense, right?
It does, but it's just...
But your only flaw in that would be that not everyone knows what he went through, or what we sort of reportedly went through, because A, it was just a report, and B, not everyone would have watched the documentary, and also on top of that, like, we've not been told that from a storyline point of view. I'm also a believer that you don't need to be told everything in a story. Like, you see things, join the dots up, get from A to B to C yourself. When they're laying the breadcrumbs, you follow that trail, you'll get there. But going by what you've just said, at no point have we been told, I don't think, have we, unless I'm mistaken, so I apologise, that he did suffer serious complications from it.
Not on fictional TV.
And that's where there's a flaw in that logic. I like what you're getting at, and it makes sense, but again, we've touched on it at the start. Build started off like really, really good.
Oh, yes.
And then it just kind of died. But the match alone is, in my mind, will make me forget about what's took place in the last few weeks.
All he had to say was, I put my blood, sweat and tears into fighting for the Shield, for you guys, for the audience. And I fought through the pain barrier to the point where I had to go away for surgery. And then in that surgery, I had a staph infection and nearly died. I got infected because of you. Okay, there's the debate about getting heat by just saying I hate the audience, whatever hometown they're in. But see if he said that. I
hate that.
See if he said that, I would have been fine with it. But it's just hammy now, and it's not even I hate that Dean Ambrose. It's right, skip, flick the channel. And I can't.
I've not gotten to that point. It's more so like, it's like what could have been almost. Ambrose's character has so many more layers to it that he doesn't need to turn around and say, "Oh, all you horrible people from Glasgow or whatever." It's like, no, that's just cheap heat. He doesn't need to do that. His character has so many layers, could tell you so many more stories. But
why didn't they tell the story? Why didn't they tell the story that they told in the Chronicle?
Because that was Dean Ambrose. Like, that was him telling you the story from his character point of view and whatnot.
This is one of those ones where the match should be good. The
match will be good.
Oh, aye. They always have good matches. But, so, I mean, Seth Rollins, arguably Man of the Year. Dean Ambrose, excellent to see him back. I've always been a firm favourite. He's always been a firm favourite of mine. But wow, what a disappointing way they've went with it. This could have been so much more. And now it's just I have cooties because I have cooties in this town that I'm in that sucks. Come on.
And for me, I'm going to go Ambrose wins.
Oh, right.
Ambrose wins. Yeah, Ambrose wins.
Aye. I'll say he wins. Next match is the last match, and it's the WWE title match between Alan Jones Styles and Daniel Bryan, who is the current champion. And with Dean Ambrose having that I don't care kind of attitude, I actively dislike Daniel Bryan.
What, Daniel Bryan, the character, or like what character he's playing, you mean?
Well, considering that's what he is...
Fickle.
Considering that's what Bryan Danielson is like in real life, then I'm not a big fan of him either.
That's true, actually. That's true.
It's been interesting. It's not been the best of builds again, but...
Because they've barely been on the same... Like, was it not a couple of weeks there where they were on the show at the same time?
This has happened with AJ Styles a lot this year.
Because he wants to cut down on his dates.
Cut down on the house shows then? I'm sure it'll be a good match. They do have good matches together.
It will be a real good match. Daniel Bryan wins, and it'll be a real good match. It will be a good match. I really like Daniel Bryan as heel. I think he's awesome.
I'm on board with it. He slapped Ali a few times last night, and I was not happy, shouting ignorant at him. Like, hold on, don't you touch my Ali. And I prefer Daniel Bryan's Arsenal when he's a heel as well.
It fits in because he works a real strong style.
It's a strong style. It's mat-based grappling.
Shout out to Keepin It Strong Style.
See the running knees. Well, the running knees fine, but the turnbuckle kicks and shout. Mm-hmm. I can't even describe it. It's basically his babyface greatest hits moves.
Yep.
I see them all the time. I'd rather see him work around the match, and I would love it if he brought back the cattle mutilation. That is a sensational submission move. Heel hook was good, but the cattle mutilation was horrendous.
And I think what you'll probably see a lot as well, like you're going to see a lot of his kind of mixed martial artist background, like that kind of style with the kicks and the grappling, etc. So, and it's more submissions. Daniel Bryan is a heel. I'm more of a fan of Daniel Bryan a heel than I am Daniel Bryan a face. I think he's a better heel than he is as a face. I think people kind of forgot just how great of a heel he is. Yeah, I say there's no reason why this match again won't deliver, because they've already had two good matches. But again, keep touching on it. It's just the same again. Build's not been great, but the matches themselves will deliver. And I know we started off quite negatively on the matches, but these last 6 that we've touched on, really looking forward to all of these.
Should be some good matches there. I'm not too fussed about the Raw Women's one, but the SmackDown Women's one, just from a visual point of view, should be sensational.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan to retain?
Oh yes, yep.
Cool.
Definitely.
So that's us. We have previewed and predicted the entire TLC card. There may be the odd change over the next few nights. I won't be touching on them because WWE should keep schedule with our release schedule. Right. Quiz time?
Yeah, unless you get in else you want to talk about.
No, not really. I'm desperate to finish and feel sorry for myself offline.
Yep, let's move on to the quiz then.
Okay.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Ricky has the quiz for us this week. TLC themed, as you promised on the text, the WhatsApp earlier.
Yep, it is 10 questions. 10 questions, you ready? So it is a TLC theme.
Okay.
Question number 1. After Edge, Who has appeared in the most TLC matches?
Oh. Jeff.
Correct.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I just want to double check, make sure that was actually correct. I'm sure it is. Because I know there was... Yep. Okay. Question number 2. Name the 2 wrestlers who have featured in more than 2 TLC matches and have a 100% win record.
More than 2 and 100% win record. Right, CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And 100%. Going to go for a wild guess here and say Christian.
Wrong. I'll give you one more guess. It is an active Raw wrestler.
Seth Rollins.
Correct. Question number 3. True or false? Edge and Christian have appeared in more than 12 TLC matches combined. So whether it be as a tag team, singles, whatever. 12 in total.
I'm going to say no.
Correct. You have featured in 11.
I thought you would do something like that.
Question number 4. What was the last TLC match that took place?
Are you including the one from Monday Night Raw?
What was the last TLC match that took place?
Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin.
Well done. I thought I'd just throw that in there just to see if it would, mess with you a little.
It's not tonight.
Nate, right, question number 5. Name the 5 opponents of the Mini Shield and Kurt Angle at TLC 17. When he came out in that ridiculous vest.
He rocked that vest like a melon. He rocked that vest like a melon farmer. Braun Strowman, Miz, Kane. Oh, who else? Oh dear. The Miz Taraj guys.
Wrong.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They are a tag team.
Oh, who was it? The Bar.
Correct.
See, Curtis Angle.
Curtis Angle. Right.
Curtis Axel and Roderick Strong have started doing a tag team on the house show circuit, and their tag team finishing move is basically where they hit their opponent with the sort of metal part or the wooden part of a windowsill. It's called the curtain rod.
Question number 6. The Undertaker's sole defeat in a TLC match was at which pay-per-view?
Undertaker's?
Mm-hmm.
Extreme Rules 2008 One Night Stand.
Yes. One Night Stand. Thought you weren't going to say that. Right.
Fantastic match.
Question number 7. How many TLC matches have taken place at WrestleMania?
2. 1.
What's your answer?
1.
Correct. Which WrestleMania do you know? That's just not a question I should be asking.
17.
Correct. Right, question number 8. John Cena and Seth Rollins had a tables match at TLC 14. What was the stipulation for that match? Not so much loser has to go through a table, but what were the repercussions of losing?
I don't think there were any repercussions for that match.
Are you sure is that your answer?
I'm going to stick with that.
Wrong.
What was it?
If Cena lost, he lost his number 1 contender spot.
If only he did.
He didn't lose, did he?
That was a good triple threat, to be fair.
Question number 9. CM Punk defended his WWE title in a TLC match in 2011. Against who?
John Cena and Alberto Del Rio.
You got one of them right.
Alberto Del Rio?
That's right, yep.
I remember the match because wasn't this the one where CM Punk was handcuffed to the turnbuckle?
It was a Miz.
Oh, right, okay.
Right. Oh, here we go. This is the one I promised you earlier on. Question number 10. In no order, name the 12 people who have competed in 3 or more TLC matches.
Roman Reigns.
Wrong.
Oh, shit, so it is. Right, I'll start again. Edge.
Correct.
Christian.
Correct.
Jeff Hardy.
You want to just take those 6? Right, I'll give you those 6, right, so you don't have to name every one of them.
Okay. Cena. CM Punk.
Yep.
Yep.
Wait, who did you say before Punk?
Cena?
No.
Yes, he has.
Are you sure about this?
Well, there was the match that he had with Edge. The match that he had with... Oh, hold on a minute.
As far as I can see, Johnny Boots and Tights is only featured in 2.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the Randy Orton one, and then the Edge one.
Kane.
Yep.
Oh, how many have I got so far?
So you've said Edge. You said Punk.
Dean Ambrose.
Yep. You said the 6.
Right, so the 6 TLC guys.
Yep. You said Kane. You said Ambrose. There's one here that I don't know if you did say him or not.
Rollins.
And I don't want to say. Sorry?
Rollins.
Correct. Now you have 2 left.
Oh, Ryback.
Nope. So you can have one more incorrect.
Oh, how many have I got left? 2?
2.
Pressure's on. I'll just need to think of someone random. Sheamus.
Nope.
Damnations. Okay, who are the other 2?
Yeah, I'll give you clues, right? One of them is on SmackDown. The other one is in Japan.
Jericho.
Yep.
I can't remember him being in 3.
Just take my word for it.
SmackDown. Orton.
Nope.
Are you sure Cena's not been in 3?
Cena's been in 2.
Right, what were they?
It says the Edge one.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one was...
Orton?
Yep.
He must have been in more TLCs than that, surely.
According to this. And Randall Keith Orton has only been in 1, apparently.
Right, what's the other one? I can't be bothered guessing.
He has his own TV show.
Miz?
Yes.
That was a good last question. A toughie.
I thought you'd like that one.
So, are you doing the plug, or am I?
No, you can do it.
Oh, we are at Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook. Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Instagram. You can go to the Facebook group Wrestling Squared Circle to see us all there, and the rest of the personalities on the Social Suplex Podcast Network, which includes ourselves, One Nation Radio, Outsider's Edge, Keepin It Strong Style, Grown Men Watch This Shit, and new to the network, Wilfred Watches Podcast and Omega Luke Wrestling Podcast. You can get all these on any podcast app that you have. If you have the option to do a rating and review, please give us 5 stars. Tell your friends, tell your parents. Socialsuplex.com gives you the option to subscribe to these podcasts and the columns that we do. At the touch of a button, it comes straight to your email inbox. And don't forget, powerslam.tv, promo code Social Suplex. That will get you a free month of over 3,000 hours of independent wrestling from across the globe.
Good job.
Thanks.
So I want to put something out there. I've actually not consulted you on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So if you don't like it, you can cut it out later on.
I've not got the energy to do that, so whatever you say.
So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a wee special episode with some of our friends. So that's all we're going to say. Kind of a fun-filled episode.
And I think people know that anyway.
I can't remember if we've plugged it or not, to be honest.
There's another one the week after, which has been in the can. Someone was asleep for it. I don't know who that was.
That was a good sleep. I'm glad I never woke up.
So am I.
Just end it, don't tell a joke.
I know, I have to. Super Crazy, Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera are bringing out, they're going into the business world and they're bringing out those portable mini fridge things. Mexicoolers.
It's like you laughed at your own joke.
It's kind of a cough, to be honest with you, this week. Enjoy TLC, everyone, and we'll speak to you next week.
Take care,
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.